We all know Ilya Rosenhoff as the untouchable, hyper-confident king of deflection. But in this episode, the armor didn't just crack, it completely shattered. I'm talking about a moment so raw it changed everything we know about him. When Ilya finally drops his mask to reveal the heartbreaking trauma of his past, he doesn't just show vulnerability, he shows us exactly why loving Shane terrifies him. This wasn't just a romance retreat, it was an emotional survival mission. Today, we're breaking down the exact reasons why Ilya's rare tears, how Shane's quiet protection heals him, and that brutal kitchen table confrontation. You're going to want to grab your tissues for this one, so let's dive in. Oh, yeah, today's title, The Cottage. Break this title down for us.
Oh, it's just that the cottage, secluded, vulnerabilities, emotions, raw sex, all the things that happen at cottages that you hear about in romance novels and everything else. So this, yes, the cottage, the cottage. Okay, you got it all. You got the inches. You got the like I said, the raw emotion, all the things to where they could be hidden and vulnerable and just be themselves. And I loved it.
Okay. So Ilya drops the bomb that he found his mother after a fatal overdose at age 12, but immediately pivots to protecting her memory, saying, I don't want you to think she's weak. Question. Why does Ilya feel the need to defend his mother's strength in the exact moment he's revealing his own deepest trauma?
He's Russian. And it's a deflection. So the first part addressing being a Russian, and this might be a microaggression, but or just the truth. There's no room for vulnerability in that way, no room for weakness whatsoever, whether you're male or female. So there's that. And so people oftentimes refer to suicide as being weak, or just trying to take the easy way out, so to speak. And so he pivots to him saying that he doesn't want him to think that she's weak, partly because of the culture that they came up in, and secondly, that's his mom, and so there's an incessant desire to protect her memory, even though you didn't know her. This is my mom, and so I come from this woman's womb. I don't want you to inevitably think that I'm weak either.
Great segue. How does this past, his mother committing suicide, how does this past shape him and the idea of looking weak in front of the hockey world?
No room for it. Absolutely no room for it. Again, the culture that he grew up in, being Russian, no room for weakness whatsoever. And then, again, because of what his mom did, people see it as a weakness. So if anything, it makes you have to double down and, in essence, kind of shape why he's the way that he is. Just leading with being a douchebag out front, as opposed to just letting anybody know he's an actual nice guy, because that in essence created an armor for him.
Let's get into some family dynamics. Do you think that Ilya's brother was more closely aligned with his father, Ilya more closely aligned with his mother? And do you think that is why the relationships he had was so frayed?
So first of all, Alexei is a complete dirtbag. Let me start there. But I guess he has his own layers that we didn't get to necessarily see fleshed out in the show. Not sure if they got into his backstory at all in the book. But it does appear that at face value, it would appear that Alexei is a bit more close to the father, but at the same time, Alexei seems to be motivated by money. So he's taking care of the father because he's getting paid to do so. But at the same time, he followed in his father's footsteps as a profession. So it's kind of a double-edged sword there. And the way that Ilya just speaks of his mother, just makes me feel like, yeah, okay, he's closer, or was closer to the mom than the dad. But as far as shaping his, I guess, overall ideology, that would, to me, that would track. That would make sense. But he, again, it's kind of, it's hidden, right? Ilya is 100% sensitive. Like, what do they call it? A sensitive gangster, if you will, because he hides it. So I can kind of see that.
Okay.
And it
So
kind of with the family. Like, you would naturally think a mother is nurturing and all of these things, and Ilya is nurturing his family. He's taking care of everybody.
mhm, mhm. So right after his heavy confession about his childhood, Ilya immediately reverts to a playful, hypersexual banter. Question: Is this swift shift to physical intimacy Ilya's primary defense mechanism to regain control when he feels too emotionally exposed?
Oh, 100%. Like, some deflect with humor. He deflects with sex. It's something that he's great at. He's very attractive. And so, double entendre here, but so he doesn't have to go that deep. It's easy to just go ahead and sidestep to something sexual,
So you're
because
saying he doesn't have to go that deep?
they're deep into his feelings. I don't know. The way he had Shane laying on his side, I don't know. But anyway, so also that tracks. It does, because no, okay, ill feelings. I threw it out there, but now I don't want to keep talking about it. And so that makes sense. Because Shane cares and he wants to know more. So I think, before I give you the opportunity to ask follow-up questions and we continue to talk about this, yeah, go ahead and put your head right here. Do this, do that, because we're not gonna keep talking about this. So yeah.
Do you think Shane knows instinctively, intuitively, how to deal with Ilya's trauma?
That's a good question. And my response is going to be instinctively, intuitively, yes. Because as far as we know, we haven't heard anything, unless there's something in the book about Shane having any type of trauma of that magnitude to be able to relate in some type of way that way. But because he is madly in love with this man and has kind of seen some of his quirks, so to speak, it is instinctive, just like knee jerk, like, okay, if you're doing this, this is how I move. Just even that play. I think you mentioned it last episode with him saying, hey, just say it to me in Russian, since I won't understand it, but I want you to be able to get it out. And so, yeah, I love that.
Okay, so Ilya admits that even when surrounded by beautiful, adoring women, he's constantly wishing they were a slow fucking hockey player with beautiful freckles and a weak backhand, meaning Shane. Why does Ilya describe this all-consuming love for Shane as a terrible problem?
Because it makes him, and some not. It's not okay to be gay and be Russian. There's the danger of that. You can never go home. So there's that part, and then it forces him to admit his raw emotions that he has for this man. Y'all have been doing this for years, playing this little cat and mouse, so to speak. And so, yeah, it's a huge problem for him, because you make me do things that I don't do. Like, he has the amazing relationship with the woman, and that's from where he's from.
Svetlana?
Yeah.
Svetlana?
But he grew up with her, right? And so that's a little bit different, but with Shane, it's like, okay, I didn't grow up with you. You're someone I kind of fell for, and being this level of raw and full of emotion is just unheard of. Like, no, I don't do this. Like, I stick and move, literally. Just stick and move. I don't stick and stay. We don't do that.
So what does it tell us about Ilya? That he views true, irreplaceable attachment as a threat to his survival.
It teaches us that he has to know how to survive. One, he's taking care of his family with this career, right? And so, again, I'm gonna keep going back to being Russian. This is just not allowed. It is absolutely not allowed. And so, if I allow myself to feel these things for you, I'm putting myself and potentially my family in danger. And so, yeah, he's a
Okay.
survivor.
All right.
He's a survivor.
All right. So let's move just a little further. When Shane maps out a real concrete future for them, playing close by starting a charity and eventually retiring together, Ilya literally has to turn his head away because he starts crying. Question: why does the promise of a secure, permanent future make Ilya cry more than the fear of being caught?
I think that it makes him cry and creates these fears because he's never really been able to allow himself to go there. And so I think it just, one, really just caught him off guard, right? And so the initial shock of it all, like, I've never even been able to even think in these terms long term, because of the nature of where I'm from and what we do as a profession. And so we're just on the back of Scott Hunter coming out and being as brave as he was. But let's be clear, did not have the same upbringing, as Ilya. So it just looks different. And so I think it was shocking, and again, just never allowed himself to even think that far about having something permanent with anyone because, again, just wasn't allowed.
So, okay, so this is where I come. So all before I agree with everything that you said. There was nothing more that I could add to it, but I do want to add here. So I think we can all agree that Ilya is bisexual, but he never allowed himself to feel that way, fall in love with a woman. But he allowed himself to fall in love. Well, I'm not going to say allowed himself. He fell in love with a man. I mean, he couldn't even do that with Svetlana, right? He couldn't fall in love with her, right? He was okay with the casual. And so I'm not certain that it's all about the sexuality for him. I think it was finding a person that could value him, the true him, in all of its messy layers. And he found that person in Shane. And Shane was basically telling him, I dig you. I dig all of your flaws and I love it. So and yeah. And I think that was what allowed him in that particular moment to all of his barriers just came down.
I loved this Ilya that showed up in this episode on so many levels. Loved it.
So let me kind of sort of go back to the question. Let me see what your answer is if I ask it in a different way. Does a real future terrify a traumatized person more than a temporary secret?
Ooh, say it one more time.
Does a real future terrify a traumatized person more than a temporary secret?
I'm going to say a real future definitely would terrify a traumatized person. Simply because having to deal with loss, right? If you stick and move, You don't have those types of attachments for real, so you're less likely to feel things as hard as you would versus you allowing yourself to fall for someone, and you have a future with them and they're taken away. So the trauma of losing his mom, he loved his mom, obviously, very, very deeply. I mean, it's his mother, right? Close relationship. And so being traumatized by that loss, I feel like thinking in future terms is terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying.
Okay. So throughout their time at the cottage, Shane is quietly taking care of everything. He drives, he cooks the meals, and physically wraps Ilya with a blanket by the pond so he wouldn't get cold. This is a question, how does Shane's acts of service, love language, act as a healing for Ilya's chaotic upbringing?
And so I love the fact that you use the love language, the acts of service. And I know I've been kind of like saying it repeatedly. Ilya takes care of his family. He can go to the cottage, be secluded, be himself, let his hair down, so to speak. Don't have to worry about anyone asking him for anything. I don't have to show up on the ice and perform, because that's another obligation, another duty. To where I'm servicing someone else. Of course, it is my profession, so I'm getting paid, but still, at the cottage, someone is literally just taking care of me, just me, not Ilya, the hockey player, not Ilya, the brother, the son, the uncle, all of these things. I can just be a human being and breathe, and to have someone think enough of me just to even cover me with a blanket says everything. It speaks volumes, to the level of care that he needs, that he is not getting on the regular. And so to me, that's everything. It's everything that he probably needed and didn't know that he needed. Like you said, because of his upbringing, the family dynamics there, everybody needed or wanted something from him, and Shane just wants him.
I love that. I absolutely, I love that. Let me tell you something. I have 2 love languages, and both of them are displayed: the acts of service and the physical touch. Let me tell you, I have yet to be in a relationship with someone where they want to touch me in the car. And the fact that Ilya is doing it so readily, like, ooh. Shirley Moto, I am from Brazil. Okay, all right.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
You
gotta work on that, Frank.
So is Shane providing the safety net that Ilya has never had in his entire life? And I think you kind of sort of answered that, but
100%, 1000%. Gives him a soft landing. Gives him a soft landing. And like, how amazing is it that you're having all of these things in one person? You can be vulnerable. The sex is amazing. We have some things in common, albeit not all things, which I think is perfect, because you should not have everything in common. That would be so boring. But yeah, 100%.
Okay. In contrast to Shane's actions, Ilya's emotional vulnerability is almost always preceded or followed by urgent physical touch, holding hands while Shane drives, kissing his hand, or demanding physical proximity. This is my question. Is physical touch Ilya's ultimate grounding mechanism?
Yes, 100%. And I don't know that he even knows it. Like you said, he'll deflect with sexual things, even if it's not going all the way. Like you said, the physical touch. It's comforting. It's a good distraction for him. Like, okay, I don't think that he even thinks about it. I just
Mm.
think it is as involuntary as blinking for him. I said something emotional. Let me grab your dick. Boom. Um, hey, this is how I see it. It's that it's that instantaneous. It is just that instantaneous with him. Correct me if I'm wrong. Literally touched my mom, committed suicide. Boom. You know, next thing.
So does he need to physically hold on to Shane to convince himself that this safe space is actually real?
Again, I think it's involuntary, but yes. Yes. I don't think he's quite worked out in his head um why he does the things that he does, but 100%. I think it's involuntary. It's unconscious. Like,
Okay. Let's move towards the end. When Shane is found out by his father, he panics, calling it his actual nightmare. Yet, when put on the spot, he rejects vague labels and proudly declares, "Just Ilya." You remember when when Ilya said, "What did he say? We're lovers," and he was just like, "Nah,
say that
we're
again.
just Ilya." How does this shift in language shift from terror to absolute certainty, and how does it show Shane's growth?
Woo. Say it one more time.
So the shift in language, how does it show Shane's growth?
I think Shane initially needed to be affirmed in that relationship. And so I think after peeling back the layers of Ilya, he's become more comfortable in just kind of knowing what it is as opposed to slapping labels on everything. And especially in his parents, who he's just come out to, which, by the way, of course, they been knew your ass was gay. They just didn't think it was him. Look, they had an inkling that you might be. But yeah, I think it's he's grown. And not to say that that should be necessarily a great thing to not have a label. It just depends on what it is that you need personally. But I think, again, because of how he's been able to maneuver with Ilya, like, whoa, I don't just scare him off. Let's not use these words. Like, don't say that anymore. So yeah, I think that's helped him to grow because he knows what things are, especially since that whole display of "I love you" in the cottage that slipped out. So yeah.
So Books, Girls, and Purrs says, "Hey, listening from work. Hey, Books, Girls, and Purrs. Thank you." For Ilya, he also has frustration with language barriers. So maybe that's also why he turns to being physical. What are your thoughts about that?
Oh, there's a language barrier, all right. He gets out all the words he needs to get out. Books, Girls, and Purrs. But that's true. Quite possibly. I don't know that they did a great display of that on the show with there being a language barrier, because he seems to understand perfectly well, at least through my lens. But yeah, I think it's grounding for him. Books, Girls, and Purrs to touch, and a good distraction, good healthy distraction from those feelings. Thank you, Books, Girls, and Purrs. We always love when you come. We love it.
So I don't know if you remember that one scene. I don't remember which episode it was. Maybe episode 2, episode 1. I don't remember. But Shane and Ilya had a press conference together, and they asked Ilya a question, and Ilya couldn't respond in that particular moment. So Shane, again, intuitively, instinctively, he answered the question first. And in appreciation, Ilya took his foot and I don't want to say touched Shane's foot, but it was like a recognition, kind of like a thank you. Because now that you've responded, I understand what the question was asking, what the person was asking with that particular question.
He froze a bit, and you said it a little while back when you were asking the question, like him being a safe space, a grounding for him, and so that was yet another display. And then even earlier on, how Shane provides a good balance for him, makes him feel safe, and all of those things. So yeah. And it was kind of hot too, just like Footsie under the table. To me, Footsie never gets old. It's just nice. Eh, but that's just me.
Another question: how does hearing Shane claim him as just Ilya affect Ilya's emotional security?
I think it affects his emotional security simply because he's not just a hockey player. He's a whole person, right? He's a human off the ice. And so I feel like it could have been taken another way, you know, but I think it was just Shane's display of like, nope, we're not going to do the formality. Clearly, Dad, you walked in on us doing the bang bang boogie. So let's go ahead and just let's meet, and let him just be a person as opposed to this Major League Hockey star. This is just Ilya. And he's breaking bread with us at our table. So yeah. I feel like that was good for Ilya to just feel like a person.
So Ilya admits that wanting to be together, that he wants to be together so much with Shane that it scares him. And Shane admits to Ilya, I'm scared. So this is my question. Even though they're both terrified, how does their relationship function as a shelter where they can confess fear without feeling shame?
So when you're in love or even in very strong light, you kind of create your own little universe, right? And so with them in particular, it's so layered behind the sexuality, behind the profession, the family, the culture, all of those things. When it comes to the two of them, they don't have to worry about that. Just with the two of them, you can just be. And so I don't know if that answers the question, but that was the best that I had in the moment.
Okay. No, that makes perfect sense. And I think it spoke to something that you said a little bit earlier. They have certain things in common, and then they have their differences. They are able to use what they have in common to form that mutuality of respect, adoration, and that is what they hold on to. But they build based on their differences, and that makes perfect sense to me. All right, so let's move. At the kitchen table, Shane's dad brings up Ilya's massive public reputation as a ladies' man. Instead of playing into his usual smooth persona, Ilya strips it all away and says, I've been with many women, but I have only been in love with one person. So this is my question to you. What does it say about Ilya's devotion that he's willing to completely assassinate his own identity to legitimize his love for Shane?
To me, one, you're at the kitchen table with your boyfriend, because he did drop that. Like, I don't know, yes, maybe. Anyway, that's my little detour. You're a public figure, so to speak, right? Because you're a professional athlete. So honestly, there would have been no benefit in denying that, right? So it's there. We know it to be true. I'm not going to deny it. I'm going to put it out there, but I'm also going to counter with, this is the person that I'm in love with. To be able to say this in front of your parents and in front of you to further solidify what we have going on, that I'm not going anywhere. And, culture aside and all of that, at least I can be here with your family. And I know that even though you're a little embarrassed right now, I don't have to hide in front of your family either, because like he kept telling them, you're safe here, your mom's here, your dad's here, your boyfriend's here, or what have you. So I felt also that in that moment, he felt safe with Shane's family as well, but also to let them know that your son is safe with me.
I really like that. What I respected in that particular moment, well, there was so many different things. Number one, Ilya said, "Hey, do you want me to go with you when you meet your parents?" That right there, that was big. That was huge. Like a lot of people would have been like, "Yeah, go to your parents. Go deal with that. I'll be right here waiting on you."
I'd
He
probably
was
be
like, "No, I'm going to go with, like, not no, I'm going with you, but hey, think about this. I can go with you. I can be your backbone if you need support." Um, and to be able to deal with everything that might happen in that particular moment, that was huge. That was major, especially for a person like Ilya. And when he was standing before um, his parents, he knew that at that particular time, hey, he needed to come in. And I don't know if you remember, it was so slight, but he put his hand on he put his hand on Shane, and he was like, "I'm." Number one, he was standing behind Shane. He wasn't standing in front of Shane. This is Shane's moment. I'm going to let him have it. But at the same time, I got your back. And parents, I need you to understand that I have his back. Okay?
because Shane even tried to, I guess there were so many things going on, so many things at play. He tells Ilya initially, "You can just stay in the car." Ilya got right on out. Probably because I don't want to sit in this ugly ass car. I don't want to be sitting in this ugly ass car. Gotta get out of this.
No, he gave him a look like, I ain't doing that. Books, Girls, and Purrs says they are each other's safety net now. What are your thoughts about that?
100%. I can just be Ilya. I don't have to be Rosenhoff, the douchebag on the ice. As far as Shane, neurodivergent, kind of awkward at times, and all of those things, I can just be myself. You accept all of it, and I love that.
When Shane's mom starts crying and leaves the table, Shane immediately chases her outside, apologizing and saying, "I did really try. I just can't help it." This is my question. What does this conversation reveal about the weight Shane has carried?
Shane has been in the shadows for so long and dealing with his momager and being part Japanese or what have you, and all the things, carrying the weight of being the spokesperson for the culture and all of these things, and not being free to be openly homosexual. He's carrying all of that, hasn't revealed or even said it out loud to anyone before
Rose.
the beard that he had.
Rose.
Yes, Rose. Thank you. And so to get to that moment and have your mom in tears, I can see why he would assume that she was thinking something else other than what she was thinking. So I was happy that she immediately clarified what she was actually feeling versus, that moment going on too long and him continuing to be apologetic for who he is.
After the initial shock wears off, the parents, especially his mom, immediately pivot to high functioning logic. The mom starts talking about preparing simple statements, reaching out to premium brands like Rolex and Reebok, and managing the narrative. This is my question. Is this hyper focus on logistics a sign of genuine support? Or is it a defense mechanism used to avoid dealing with the emotional reality of Shane's secret life?
So I think it's a little bit of both. And one, okay, I'm a mom first. So if I'm a mom and I'm a good mom, let me put that out there, because the prerequisite for being a mom or a father is very low. All you need is working equipment, right? So her being a good mom, I want to protect my child. However, there's a duality there. I also want to protect his brand that we've built, because it's deeper than just Shane at this point. We're building something for our family, right? And so if I can get ahead of this, I can protect my child and I can protect our investment. So I think it's both. I don't know that one outweighs the other, if I'm being honest. I think it was literally a bit of both.
I didn't really see her. I didn't see what she did. Her thinking about the logistics of I don't know, spinning the narrative. I didn't see that as a negative. To me, I saw that as a positive. She got the emotional stuff out first. She was the mom first, right? She let him know, I accept you, I respect you, I love you, I'm proud of you.
Now to your investments.
You know, I
That's
thought
why I agree with you. I didn't
was
see it as negative
thankful.
either. She was being her authentic self. Like I said, I don't think she's a bad mom at all. Like, no, you worked your butt off, and I know how this world is, and so do you.
Mhm. All right. So during the family dinner, his mom notes Ilya's lack of loyalty to Boston, to which Shane fiercely replies, he's trying to be loyal to me, not Boston. Question: how does this confrontation shift the stakes of the romance, if at all?
I think I don't know, necessarily shifts versus adds to. Simply because now he's getting even more comfortable with saying, hey, this is my person. He is loyal to me. So I don't know, necessarily shifts as opposed to adds to.
Okay. All right. So Books, Girls, and Purrs says, I feel like Shane's mom apologized, but then did the very same thing that overwhelmed him in the first place. What are your thoughts about that?
The thing that overwhelmed him, like thinking about why I can't come out in front of everybody. Um, I agree. Books, Girls, and Purrs. So she did kind of default to that, but I think it was for the greater good. I'm not gonna lie. I think it was for the greater good. And I could you see Shane putting his head on the table, like, oh my God, this is so overwhelming. This is so much. That whole scene was just a lot with this impromptu coming out lunch. All behind his dad not having the right charger. It's like old people. And I'm gonna plug I know this, I got ADHD. I'm going in a whole nother direction. Just forgetting stuff. Why you don't have the right charger at your house? I mean,
You know what I actually loved about that scene? Just watching Ilya he was tearing up that spaghetti, boy. He was all up in it. I was like, what?
Looks familiar, huh?
Yeah. When it's good, it's good. When it's good, it's good.
But yeah, that's a great point.
So Books, Girls, and Purrs says, definitely agree. She's always well-meaning.
Oh yes, but again, you are right. Like she hopped right into her business role, and I'm wondering. I'm wondering if she's noticed along the years of her being his manager or PR or whatever person that she has been overwhelming him this entire time. I'm wondering if she recorded like
no. Now I think the dad kind of steps in every now and then. He kind of smooths her edges out just a little bit, but I don't think that she really notices.
And look, and Dad, I am a nip tuck person, so seeing him just kind of, play the background a little bit, I'm seeing McNamara Troy.
Okay. Because I had a look. that was when I knew I could have a crush on two people at the same time.
Christian Troy and Sean McNamara.
Yeah. But you know what? As I'm thinking about it, that's Shane and Ilya.
The personalities.
Yeah. Books, Girls, and Purrs says, oh my God, yes. The food, Ilya said he's always trying to make sure his family is taken care of and the food is perfect. But then he's with Shane's family. He's the one being fed.
Literally and figuratively, Books, Girls, and Purrs. Yes.
That goes along with something that I mentioned the last time that we were on the air. I said he meaning Ilya, develops a close relationship with Shane's parents. I mean close. There are times when they're contacting Ilya and they're not contacting Shane. Like, have you ever been in a relationship?
I can relate to where family contacts me before they'll contact you. Yes, I have once and only once experienced that. And then, I'm a Virgo, so, I don't always answer the phone. But, if you send me a text, I know. I might not see the text until 5 days later. But, depends on who you are.
That's horrible.
You do the same thing. Some people are pinned to the top. And so it's like, ooh, okay, I got to take this.
I don't know. Hear you. We couldn't hear you.
Uh-oh.
We couldn't hear you.
You couldn't hear me?
No.
No, I'm saying some people are pinned.
Well, anyway. Okay. All right. Let's go. So before we hit our final ratings, I want to turn to my lovely co-host, Ilya. This episode gave us so much to process, from Ilya dropping his shield about his mother to that terrifyingly real kitchen table confrontation with Shane's parents. Was there anything else in this show that we didn't quite dive into that you really wanted to talk about?
Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, great. So honestly, still from this episode, Dad mentioned Scott Hunter. And he says, "Did you talk to Scott Hunter?" And so my mind immediately went to, oh my God, they think all the gays know each other. But this was a fair question. Simply because of how brave Scott was. They're in the world of hockey. They've played each other, all the things. So they are familiar. And so, whereas my knee-jerk reaction was like, why would you assume that I talked to Scott Hunter? But at the same time, I felt like it was a fair question from his father to go there, because who better to understand kind of what you guys are going through than someone who's in the profession with you all and that you are familiar with. And so I didn't notice Shane respond at all. Ilya was talking, and so, which brings me to, because I did not read the books. You and I have talked about this a bit. And Ilya said that he did speak to Scott or whatever, but I'm knowing that they have some type of sordid past. Like, I don't know if it was just a couple of times. I just know they smashed. I just know that they did.
Is that a question or is that a comment?
It's both.
They did not have sex at all.
Are you serious?
At all. In fact, at this particular point in time, what's his name? Not Shane. Scott. Scott has no clue whether Ilya is gay or not. In fact, he's not even thinking that Ilya is gay.
Really? I would have been certain, or maybe that's just my perverted mind when it comes to them just really conjuring this up. Just, you just
want to see it. You just want to see it.
Books, Girls, and Pearls, this sounds like a nightmare for Shane. Everything is a nightmare for Shane. Everything. Two sex are a nightmare for Shane.
The ingredients. Shane, Ilya was like, just cut it in half. It was like Shane didn't even think about that. Like, huh?
Oh, this Ilya has a type.
I see. My bad. I'm so sorry. So, Books, Girls, and Purrs says Ilya has a type. He's called. Wait a minute. He called Scott boring as well. Yeah. Oh, I know what you're referencing. But by the end of the 5th episode, he texts Shane that Scott's hot.
And he is.
He
Come
is.
on, my little Midnight Texas Books, Girls, and Purrs. Have you seen Midnight Texas?
Ooh, Midnight Texas. Let me tell you. And I didn't even know about the Borgias. Have you ever seen the Borgias?
Yes, the Borgias. Oh, we're gonna have to talk about that later. Yes.
So he was on the Borgias as well.
The Borgias is good.
Yeah,
I used to get the Borgias on rental from the library, from the DVDs.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes, I love me some good church, for lack of better words, drama. Some scandals. Oh my goodness! Before there was Game of Thrones, my goodness, the Borgias, the Borgias had me in the chokehold.
Well, yeah. So you were one of the ones watching the Borgias versus Game of Thrones because they came out around the same time.
Really? Okay, so Game of Thrones I didn't pick up till later, but yes, the Borgias. Oh yes, my goodness, yes.
Well, let me tell you, Books, Girls, and Purrs.
Oh,
Midnight Texas, especially season 1. Season 2 kind of, but season 1 gave me everything. Fantasy for real.
Don't make me go backwards and let us do at least a couple of Midnight Texas. But watch the Borgias too. Watch the Borgias. Watch it. If you haven't, you'll love it. So,
Books, Girls, and Purrs, you're with us. So I need you in the comments. If you're ready for what's coming next to the channel, we're keeping the high stakes romance going over the next few weeks with the deep dives into Netflix's Nemesis and Half Bad. Plus, this June, we're finally tackling the masterpiece of toxic romance, Interview with the Vampire. Drop a comment and tell us which one you're most excited to obsess over with us.
Can I drop my comment now?
Yes, you may. So Books, Girls, and Purrs says, Ilya mentioned Shane's weak backhand, but those hands still took care of business, double duty in episode 4. Baby, let me tell you something.
Listen. Backhand, forehand, all hands.
See? I love Books, Girls, and Purrs.
Look, but don't forget that we are comparing, contrasting, juxtaposing, if you will, Lestat and Louis versus Ilya and Shane.
Oh yes, that's right. Thank you. The first thing that we're doing is we're comparing and contrasting Ilya and Shane to Louis and Lestat. That's going to be one episode only. But we've got a couple other things in the works. But we wanted to get that out, and we wanted to get it. We're actually going to do it next week, right? We're going to do it next week. And so yeah. That's what we're doing. All right, and now it's time. Oh, I'm sorry.
So Books, Girls, and says, "Oh heck yes, the vampire Lestat is what she is the most interested on." And so guess what? Me too, twin. Me too. And so I cannot wait. Oh my goodness, Sam. Oh Sam, he's so fine.
And now it's time for our final verdict. For our newcomers, we rate every single episode.
Can you say that for our new what?
For our newcomer? We rate every single episode of this universe on a very specific heated rivalry scale, ranging from a total skip of don't even bother, all the way up to a flawless, mind-blowing 10 inches. So, Ilya, what were your thoughts about this episode?
So, if I am to be honest, this episode for me is a 9. Only because my Scott Hunter episode was a 10. This one for me is a 9. There were a lot of things happening, a lot of things that I loved, appreciated, adored. It's still gonna get a strong 9 from me. Not quite a 10, but loved this episode.
For me, this episode got a 10. It's 2 10s back to back. And let me tell you why.
Not a double-sided 10.
A double-sided 10. 2 10s at once. 2 10s at once. No, it was a 10. It was a 10, and this is why. It was a 10 it was a 10 because a lot of those layers were finally peeled off. We were able to learn more about Ilya. We understood the relationship that the two. We started to understand the relationship that the two of them were building in that particular moment, and it was almost as if those years of having sex together, it meant absolutely nothing, especially when Shane was just like, hey, I would like to just spend time with you. And he wasn't even talking about sex. Yeah, they had sex, but it was about spending their time together. And that moment when Ilya was in Shane's lap, number one, he was like, why are we sitting out here? And Shane was just like, hey, it's a fire. It's cool. It looks nice and all of that. And next scene, he's staring at the fire in Shane's lap. Let's not forget about the loom. But it was all of those moments. And yes, when Shane's father found out, number one, Shane's father didn't run and tell his mom. I guess he was waiting on Shane to do the telling. And that's exactly what Shane did. Shane bucked up and he was just like, nah, this is who I am. And I need you to accept it. I need you to respect me. I need you to love me. And I need all these things from you. And they gave it. That was emotional. And the moment with his mom, number one, yes, when he said to his mom, I tried, I couldn't do it. I don't know what gay man has not uttered similar words to his mother. That was real. That was a real moment.
Real and wrong.
You know what I'm saying? And the way in which she responded, the way in which his dad responded, all of that. And yes, it was the touching. It was small. It wasn't in the dialogue. It was the little things that we saw. It was when Shane gave Ilya a blanket. It was the two of them swimming in the pond together. It was the fact that Ilya paid so much attention to Shane that he knew where his cell phone was. You know what I'm saying? It was the jealousy that the two of them had towards each other and the other people in their lives. That particular moment when Shane basically told Ilya, don't marry her. You can marry anybody else, but don't marry her. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was all of those things that made that particular episode so special for me. It was like they both let their guards down and they told the truth, and it was wonderful, and they connected as a result of it. I loved it. It was a 10 for me. Books, Girls, and Purrs says, what's your favorite line from this episode? There, I'm gonna be quiet because I kind of went on a tirade.
No, I don't want you to be quiet because I do want to know what your favorite line is. For me, I don't know about a favorite line. I don't know, maybe because I deflect with humor. I feel like anytime that Ilya says something that is completely inappropriate, to kind of steer away from those feelings, like talking shit about Shane's car, like, or either that he had the house designed and he says stuff like, yeah, of course you did, or those types of things that are very backhanded, very sarcastic. I love all of those. Of course, if we have to deal in emotion, one of the things that Jermaine was just talking about, just the line of being apologetic, saying, hey, I'm sorry, I tried, basically, to be straight. So yeah.
So Books, Girls, and Purrs says that her favorite line was, she would have loved you like I love you.
Oh, the mom. Beautiful.
So, unlike you all, I can't remember lines. I cannot. I can remember moments.
You can remember moments.
I can remember moments. And actually, it was when the two of them were outside, and it was when Ilya was laying in Shane's lap, very vulnerable. All of that whole scene was moving for me.
Thank you, Books, Girls, and Purrs, for your questions and your comments. Love them.
All right. Was there anything that we missed?
I'm sure we missed several things. But for these purposes, I think I don't have anything further. I'm just really excited. I hate that this is over because I really enjoyed the show. Cannot wait for the next season. Hopefully they don't drag us along, even though it's a completely different network than we're dealing with Interview. But hopefully they don't take as long and just have us salivating and waiting and pushing it back. But yes.
Thanks for the read. Always. We like to keep it hot, baby.
So hot.
Thank you all so very much for joining us. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share on all your social media. Until next time, have a good one. We've got questions and we know you have answers, so make love to our senses in the comments. Drop them down below.